everybody. Welcome back to the next episode of Disattractions.
Where are we?
We're home.
Whoa!
We're in Oregon.
We're in Oregon. That was the surprise, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. We're actually on a live, actual kind of set thing right now. Isn't that crazy?
Actually being held captive and hostage in this room to record this episode.
Yep, you're completely right about that, Brett.
Oh boy. So
of course this is the huge entire big we've been leading up to moment, is that Brett decided to come and visit where I live because he's always kind of wanted to visit Oregon.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of showing him around and everything like that. And of course we had to record a Disattractions episode because if we didn't, that would be weird.
Yeah. And tonight we're seeing Deftones.
I don't really enjoy Deftones, but we're going to go see it anyways because Brett loves it and I love Brett. So, we're good with that.
Well, next episode, I'm going to picture right here, Deftones the Ride.
Deftones the Ride. So today you're probably like, well, what are you going to cover today? Like, it must be a big topic, and I think the topic today is going to be probably one of the most meaningful topics to me. I love the topic that we're going to be discussing today. I know it the most out of any of the other topics that we've talked about. And if you haven't engaged with the topic we're talking about, I really highly recommend if you do. And of course thematically it's correct. We're in Oregon, so we had to discuss Gravity Falls. Yes. It's only natural since we're in Oregon, and so we're around that area. So might as well talk about Gravity Falls and the world that exists around it as a theme park, which honestly is something that would work really well. And honestly, this is going to be a silly episode, but I also think there's a lot of good ideas, and I think we'll have a lot of fun with it. And at the same time, but it also could honestly really work. Yeah.
Oh.
So
let's get into it.
Yeah, we usually start off with our experience with what our familiarity is with Gravity Falls. Or with any media format. For me, personally, Gravity Falls was the show that was the first really big cartoon show that was sequential to the point where I need to watch every episode. Yeah. And I tuned in on Disney. Was it Disney XD or Disney Channel? I want to say it was Disney.
It started
Channel.
on Disney Channel. I saw them also on the Disney XD.
I think it started Disney Channel.
Is Disney XD a thing anymore?
I don't know. Actually, that's a good question.
Huh.
I have to look into it after.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, but I got into it and I was looking for it every single time it was airing their episodes because of course they did really well with anticipating a new one with all the little secrets they've added and all the little bits and pieces that they hint at new things in the episodes or anything like that. So I really did grow up with it, as well as it's in my local area. It was set in my local area, which was so surprising and very connecting to me. It's my favorite thing. It's a foresty town in Oregon with creepy crawlies going all around everywhere, and it's honestly a really solid premise and done a really good job. Yeah. That's my experience with Gravity Falls. But. Yeah,
I mean, I just discovered the show when it first came out on Disney Channel back in 2012. That's been a long time, guys. Mm-hmm. It's been out for over 10 years. I think it's getting close to 15.
Yep.
Wild. We're all so old.
We are getting old.
Anyways. But yeah, I mean, I personally really identified with Dipper. He was also a kind of awkward, quirky, shaggy-haired 15-year-old kid like I was. So that's kind of a thing that helped me attach to the show because a lot of people thought that I looked like him growing up too.
Right.
And kind of had the same personality traits. And after that, just watching the show, I got invested in the lore. I thought it was really well written. It was a really funny show. It was a great cartoon. It's one of the best shows I think ever.
I would agree. It is my number one piece of visual media to ever exist. I think it is. I think it is my favorite. It's one of those shows that it's only 2 seasons long. It's not a terribly too long of a TV show. But it's full of just every episode is good. We were talking about before we started recording that there's no bad episodes and each are very memorable.
Yeah.
So it's short and sweet, but it's good all the way around.
I'm just glad that didn't survive for 10 seasons and have and shell out like the SpongeBob's doing or whatever.
Yeah, because I love going back to SpongeBob. We haven't done a SpongeBob episode yet, but I want to. I love SpongeBob, at least the original seasons. Now it's just being drawn out even after Steven Hillenburg's death or whatever.
Plankton the movie.
So I'm glad Gravity Falls didn't do that. It did what it wanted to do, and it did it all the way through.
Yep.
and it never stopped or gave up. So, yeah. So moving on towards how do you make Gravity Falls a theme park? Because the city of Gravity Falls is a really, really big beast to tackle. And so we came up with basically the whole entire area be just Gravity Falls in general. I mean, it's a small town. It's very small. The design of it is cartoony forest, which is so up my alley. But
Yeah.
anything else you're thinking for the area other than like specifically for the art design or layout or...
I mean, like we said, no matter where it goes, it has to look and feel like Oregon.
Yep.
Big, elaborate trees, little, like, cozy cabin.
Mm-hmm.
Very much aesthetically pleasing like that would be the direction for this. I mean, for me, there's some episodes where we kind of struggled to have, like, a feeling for like, Dire Wimpy Kid, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not an immediate, like, tone for that, and you have to... The Gravity Falls tone, it's there to set up for a world. It's right there. It's already cozy by design,
Yep.
Yeah.
It's campy, cozy summer camp vibe.
Yes.
Where, like, you go to the middle of the forest, you go there, and you... I want it to feel like you're trapped in trees. I think that's a very interesting way to phrase it. But, like, again, like, you're trapped in a forest, and you... Like, the trees are so tall that you can't really see anything outside of the world that you're in, which is very Gravity Fallsy. Mystery, little, like... I think Gravity Falls will look amazing at night in general.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool. But all the attractions, the dining, the everything, like the shops, the experiences, the shows, everything like that will be just kind of located within the Gravity Falls area, which is not very controversial to say, and it kind of just makes sense at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that's a very hard thing to come up with, so that's what we did for the area specifically. Again, like with Gravity Falls, everything's not run down. It's just very tourist trap sideshow, but it's not very well made. You know what I mean? Like the Mystery Shack is just cobbled together. Everything is very campy. I don't know.
Part of the charm of the Mystery Shack in general is the fact that it's a tourist trap by design, which kind of makes it perfect as a theme park because theme parks are just tourist traps, right?
Yep.
So it's kind of meta in that way as well.
Yep. And that's the lore of the Gravity Falls area for this. So basically what the whole area of lore is that, like, Gravity Falls by design, again, is a tourist trap. And so Grunkle Stan and probably the whole town of Gravity Falls are going to take advantage of that to get money. Which is very on brand for them. And so the whole area of the park is seen to be like, oh, we need to get, like, very tourist trappy. Like, we need to, like, to take your money pretty much. Which is kind of funny, but it works really well for the story of Gravity Falls, and it's just like, you walk in and it's like, oh, come visit this tourist trap, come visit this. It's like the rock that looks like a face rock. You know what I mean? Like, it's exactly. Like, what is that? Stuff like that. And so, kind of moving on to rides, I guess, because we kind of gave us a certain scenario for kind of a good area for where this is all going to be laid out. We were thinking very much a dark ride. Because I don't know what... a roller coaster's too much for Gravity Falls, I'd say. It doesn't fit very well, and neither would, like, a drop tower or something that's, like, I guess, too intense. That's weird how I don't know necessarily how to phrase it. It just doesn't fit necessarily.
Yeah, there is a way to, like, make some... I don't... We've had this discussion in other episodes, too. You don't want it to feel too much like a carnival.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. If you had like a drop tower ride or something like that, that's like very mechanical within the context of Gravity Falls, I don't think it entirely checks out. There's an idea that we have that's a little bit like that, but I think it works because of the way that we're approaching it. You know?
Yeah, what I mean? Exactly. So. And for this dark ride, it's going to be kind of centered kind of within the Mystery Shack, but an extension of it. It's going to be something that's created. So Grunkle Stan obviously knows that new tourists are going to come to the Mystery Shack, obviously, because, again, like all these people, it's in a theme park or whatever. So he creates this this attraction purposefully, like, to just rake in money. So the ride is a dark ride that starts out, and you're going through the queue, and you enter. Maybe you enter through a side part of the Mystery Shack that says the ride's name or whatever. We don't have a name for it. And you walk throughout the Mystery Shack areas, like, because they don't have the space to make a line or like a queue anywhere else, so you have to walk through the parts of the Mystery Shack that are are very unique to the story. So maybe you're on the Mystery Shack, you're going through the kitchen, and you're going through like the living room, and Ducktective is playing on the TV, and you enter his office, where Grunkle Stan teaches Dipper, who is actually Mabel, about the birds and the bees. That was a funny skit.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, because Mabel's in Mabel's and Dipper's body.
Yeah.
And like you go to where he has all his wax figures are, and they're animatronics. So like every once in a while, one of them might blink or something to show that they're kind of still alive or whatever. And you walk through the area with all the wax figures. And you go upstairs, maybe to Mabel and Dipper's room, stuff like that. Where you're going through their house, which are very iconic parts of the Mystery Shack is like the most iconic part of Gravity Falls. And then, once you get finally to the ride, I think the ride should start out as like some campy like, here is a dragon, and it's like a sheep with like a tail and like a horn like strapped onto it.
And you're already getting hints of that throughout the queue line too. Yeah. Like that this is about to happen. You're about to
Yeah, it's very much like, why did you go here? Like this is very tourist trappy.
Yeah.
And obviously it would be that way all the way through. But then you get to a point where like obviously we have to include Bill Cypher in this because he is he's probably the most iconic villain of Disney, like Disney Channel. I'd say. And this is kind of where it can go a lot of different ways. We were thinking that, like, he could mess with the writers as to, like...
Yeah. To be honest, I feel like a Mummy type of direction would be cool. Where it starts and you're kind of going through and it's kind of, like, slow and you're kind of seeing... And then Bill Cypher comes in and goes, I'm going to take your souls or whatever. And then you, like, blast off and it's like a roller coaster and he's, like, trying to manipulate you.
That would honestly be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
You could even play with it by going through, like... Because, like, in the show, there's a lot of situations where, like, they explore their old past and like, in their minds a lot.
Yeah.
I forget what that... I don't know what that specifically, that place is called, where Bill Cypher takes them to a couple of times in the show. It's just omnipotent. But, like, you could pull ideas from, like, maybe past episodes and kind of place them in kind of similar scenarios where he kind of uses the beasts of Gravity Falls. Like, there's at one point maybe the giant, like, combined gnome chases you for a bit.
Yeah, that's fun.
Or, like, you go in, like, under the water and Old Man McGucket is, like, in there for some reason, and, like, the giant Loch Ness monster.
Yeah, that'd be a way where you could get through some references to the show without it feeling too much like, why are we here?
Yeah.
You know?
It could, like, be using the monsters to try to steal. Why does Bill Cypher want to steal souls? That's what I'm trying to really think. What's the point? Is he just evil?
Yeah.
There's a reason as to why he's doing it, though.
He's hungry.
Does he eat them?
I think so.
Is he just hungry? That's what he does? Yeah. Obviously, I would want to make Bill Cypher have the most off-the-cuff quotes ever in this ride. Like, his whole entire speech about how, like, don't trust the government, buy gold. Like, full-on, like... reality is an illusion, like, full-on, like, going conspiracy theory weird mode. Like,
I'm gonna decapitate you like the Big Thunder Mountain did.
Yeah, like, literally, or some, like, weird, like,
whoa.
quotes. He's like, you want to see a bird inside out? And, like, flips around out of nowhere, like, very off-the-cuff Bill Cypher.
I'm gonna make your car go 0 to 60 now. We'll see if you splat on the wall.
Yeah. Or something like that. I'm just gonna have those monsters kind of go in without. Maybe it'd be kind of cool if you had some references, like maybe he teleports you to the man of the Pacific Northwest, kind of has that dinner party thing at, or like just various things around the episode.
I'm gonna crush you like America Sings. I'm sorry. We'll cut
That's good. Something like that, like where it's just meta, but at the same time it's very Gravity Falls-esque. The thing is, though, it's a good idea. We just don't have it nailed right now. We don't have the specific show scenes where, like, we could take it and just go really far with it. Like, in this section, this happens. In this section, the other half. You know what we did have that for? McDonald's. That's the one episode where we had, like, beat by beat, this would happen.
Grimace.
Which Grimace one? Maybe he takes you to Grimace.
Yeah. So Bill Cypher takes you to Grimace and Mitt Romney.
So Bill Cypher was there during the Plupa 42.
He was.
So he was very much a manipulator of it. He was the manipulator behind Grimace and Mitt Romney because Grimace and Mitt Romney actually used to be great buds.
That's why they kissed.
Yeah, that's why they kissed.
Yeah.
But Bill Cypher wanted power, and he wanted governmental power, and he also wanted fast food power for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so he made them fight, but then at the end, the love was so great that the Plupa 42 just happened there, and then now history is what it is because of it. Mm-hmm. But going back to the ride, maybe they do go to maybe there's a scene in the ride where you go to the Plupa 42 and you see it from Bill Cypher's angle. But
yeah.
Trying to think because I really do want to try to push to take more time to do story beat by story beat than just rather generalizing. It's just that's something really hard to do sometimes when especially when there's a lot of things you could do, and so nailing it down one is very difficult. But I think you're kind of right with the Mummy idea where it's half dark ride, half. I want it to be longer than the Mummy. I love the Mummy so much. It's my favorite ride at Universal Florida, Orlando, whatever that side of the park or the resort. But I want it to be longer. It's kind of short, and so I kind of want it to be a little longer than that. And I want it to stop and go. So kind of like what the Mummy does, the part where the whole fire goes on, the ceiling goes on fire. But more times where it doesn't just stop and go again. It goes through a tiny show scene and then kind of go again and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't lose too much momentum.
Yeah, make sure we don't just stop and go.
I think that's the biggest issue of the Gringotts ride is that you get a little bit of a thrill and then all of a sudden it just stops. You get a little bit of a thrill again. It's just it teases you.
Well, you would make those sections pretty longer, I guess. You need to be. I think for a Gravity Falls ride, the story is literally everything. So making it a little story and then just a roller coaster for the rest of the way isn't the way to go about it. You would need to spend more time with the characters in the story.
Fair.
I think that's very important. Otherwise, because the Mummy is a great movie ride or a great ride because the Mummy is very much a monster and it's the story is good in the Mummy. But at the same time, the characters aren't necessarily what make the Mummy. What makes the Mummy is the Mummy.
Yeah.
You got the Mummy in there. You got that whole entire ride set up. But Gravity Falls it's their characters, and the monsters that are next thing that are inhabiting Gravity Falls. So I really think you would have to try to find a mixed ground of Gringotts and Gravity Falls. I think you could have if you have the section, how the roller coaster on the Mummy, you start and it has that first section where you launch upward and you do the first roller coaster section. And it stops you at the part where it says it does a fake out, disembarking the ride or whatever, then you go for the last little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think that part necessarily stops the flow of it. I think it's unexpected and it's already? And then I think that works. You could pull something like that where Bill Cypher stops something unexpectedly or it makes it intrigue and so that doesn't lose momentum. But with Gringotts it's very much we're just in Harry Potter. It doesn't really subvert expectations. Yes. It just is more of the same thing. Yes. Where it does feel that you're okay, now I'm on this part and it's just giants tearing the track down where it's
giants that aren't even established in Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's you know what I mean? Or even the roller coaster part isn't even good. In Gringotts half the time. I like the first drop, and then it just settles down for a bit.
Yeah.
And the launch is kind of interesting. But, again, there's no reason for why,
And the restraints are awful.
They are... I think if you do the stopping of the ride parts fairly well, it could go well. It could... maybe, he stops the cart. I'm trying to think of something else that would be just like that. But, he there's a point where the monster's, stops the cart, and, he goes into super ultra Bill Cypher mode, where I don't know. I have to think of this a lot more about it, but I do believe there is a way to stop and go, and still make it not drag or feel the pacing got stopped, especially because the Mummy does stop and go a lot. Yeah. I mean, the first drop part, if you want to go through it, is just you go through this, and then you get to a wall where you actually physically stop. But what makes it interesting is that it involves the scarabs that get under your skin, which is like pretty spooky. And then it launches you backwards, so it subverts expectations where you didn't expect it. And so that's what's like, oh, that's cool. Gringotts just continues forward. The only time it really submerges expectation is the final launch, which is probably arguably the best section of that ride, is that dragon hitch launch, which subverts expectation and you go through the wall, or it looks like you're about to go through the wall. I'd say that's probably one of the best parts about it. So I think there might be a way to pull it off. You would just have to keep it expectations like, oh, like just random, or you didn't expect that, which for Gravity Falls is very easy to do. Because you could have a section where like the launch, like you look like you're about to launch forward, like there's a track, like a faux track there that you're supposed to launch straight into, like Bill Cypher's like, fine, you win, here's the exit type deal, but then you launch backwards or something like that, where like you could subvert expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like, oh, you stopped or whatever, but then you're like curious, like, okay, I think it's gonna go this way, then it doesn't go that way, and you're like, whoa, and you jump back. But that's my rant on that. We think specifically that Bill Cypher could do in the ride that's like... Because we have that first chunk of ride specifically that's like a tourist trap for Grunkle Stan. That's very easy you can come up with. It's like a drivable museum type deal where it's just random crap. Like, this is the first penny ever found in Gravity Falls. And it's just like just a normal penny from his wallet. Or like whatever, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the first quarter. But for the last 3/4, I'm wondering what that would be specifically. You know, what do you think?
I kind of feel like, so does this take place, like, I think we have to establish when this takes place, right?
Right.
Is it before or after Weird Armageddon?
That's a good question. I honestly would think before, because then it wouldn't make sense to be after, because Dipper and Mabel kind of get sent back home. Unless it's the summer back.
Yeah, unless they're visiting the next summer.
Unless it's the summer back. You could do either. I could see it being after, and like this is like it'd be kind of funny if the park was an introduction of like Bill Cypher's back.
Yeah.
And it's through the park that you learn that he's back, but it's or you could do it as one of the days that we just didn't know about during the summer.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could. I mean, like, as simple as this could be, it could simply just be a revenge plot. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, you're back trying to make money again and stuff like that? Well, I'm back too, and it's my revenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I need, like, yeah, he has to make, like, a meta joke. Like, he's like, what are those? I need my residuals. Like, you know what I mean? Exactly. Like, stuff like that, where it's like, you could easily do that. That's a cute idea.
You got renewed? I'm back too, you know what I mean? Yeah.
You know. You just make jokes like that, where it's just like, you know... I was off filming the new Gilmore Girls season.
Yeah.
Whatever. Now it's about to get rebooted. Don't tell anyone, but now they have to do this stuff again. Fine.
We'll do it my way.
We'll do it my way or whatever, and then that's a cute idea.
Yeah.
Bill Cypher's just annoyed that he has to be back at the reboot.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like, dang. And this is permanent. Or whatever, because it's a permanent ride. He's like, I have to do this all over again?
Yeah.
At the end of the ride?
Like, it's kind of like, you know, the Season Nemo friends with the starfish at the end. He's like,
yeah.
I just keep hearing this all day long. He does something like that. He's like, dang it, I have to get ready for the next group?
Yep.
What did I get myself into? Did I get out of my contract?
Yeah.
Disney, please.
Please, whatever. I'm in purgatory.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, that's funny. I love that.
Very much like that or whatever. Maybe he's like paying for punishment because he's in purgatory.
Yeah.
And that's not the real Bill Cypher. That's a copy of a Bill Cypher just made for the park, so it gets really meta.
That's funny.
Or whatever, where it's like, it's not like...
I have to see Mitt Romney again?
The world is an illusion. Reality is fake. Pluto 42 happened. Bye, Goldbug.
If you like Pluto 42, really?
Yeah, whatever. Oh, what happened? Bye.
They look it up and it's our podcast.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
You're in the ride, too.
Pluto 42.
We gotta do Disattractions the ride. When we get enough
That's
point.
meta.
Yeah. But I think that could work a lot, and I think him, like, just the story of it. So now we kind of have it more solidified, going back and kind of restarting to solidify what this ride is.
Yeah.
Now that we kind of, like, thought about it and discussed it a little bit more, is that Grunkle Stan has created a tourist trap-esque ride extension of Mystery Shack because he knew that they were going to be they were going to be a theme park, and they were like, I got to make money off this.
Yeah.
Extra money. So Disney came up to him and was like, hey man, this is a good idea for a theme park. We're going to make a lot of money. And Grunkle Stan's like, alright, you're right. I'm going to make a tourist trap just for it. So I'll make some money. So he does. And it's just a compilation. You go on the ride, and I think it'd be funny if there were golf carts, because golf carts are like a little motif going throughout the episodes, because the golf carts are fun, I guess. I don't know. They're in there a couple times. It'd be funny if there were golf carts, because he can't afford actual track. And, like, why would he be able to afford actual track? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for the first quarter of it, it just looks straight up like golf carts driving through these things. Like, you don't even see the track. But then once Bill Cypher enters, it becomes the roller coaster. It becomes the extended bit where, like, you do see the track then, because it makes sense because Bill Cypher is warping reality or whatever. But you're going through these little areas, you're seeing, like, a dragon, which is, again, like a sheep with, like, a dragon tail or horns, or very just tourist trappy things, or, like, rock that looks like a face rock, random stuff. Like, Grunkle Stan is, like, on the loudspeaker just going, like, these taxes are crazy, or whatever, like, very something that's very Grunkle Stan or whatever.
Yeah.
And then at some point where you get through to a point, you see, like, it'd be funny if you see, like, either a Bill Cypher doll or something on the wall. Like, you know how, like, in the show, there's multiple times where, like, the Bill Cypher's triangle is shown off before he even introduced himself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you see like the reflection of a window or whatever. It'd be a real cool effect that, like, burned into actual reality. Maybe it was like a projection or an animatronic or whatever. It's just like, and he comes in and he's like, again, he says, like, all right, so I know everyone else got renewed, so I have to get renewed too. This is my 80. It'd be fun if, like, it counts actually how many times the ride has gone. It's like, this is my 80th time today.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever, and it's like, all right, let's get this over with. And the whole room just, like, does, like, a Mickey and Minnie's type of transition where, like, we're like, yeah, but, like, you know, transition with the 2D type stuff where it becomes like a factory and turns into a park or whatever. That type of deal.
What if they did Nothing Can Stop Us Now, but it was like a reference? Like,
Nothing Can Stop Us Now.
Yeah.
And it just, like, everything changed about the thing, and so I think we need to add in the characters into it, like maybe Dipper and Mabel are also there for some reason. I don't know. Do you think it'd be very interesting if it was like a one-on-one with Bill Cypher with the ride vehicle, or do you think the characters should be like Seuss, like Maple, Grunkle Stan? It'd be interesting if it was just a one-on-one, like, because you know you don't really see that, because, like, it'd be more unique.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't, like, oh, it's Gravity Falls the ride, like Frozen, where all the characters are there. It's Frozen. You go to the castle.
I feel like you could address the characters and even have them in there, but it's not just like, oh, here's the character. Like, they'd be doing something, you know?
Right.
In context of the Bill Cypher-ness of it all.
I'm just trying to think of what that would be, because you don't want to pull off, like, Gringotts too much, where it's just like they're there and they're doing stuff, but it's just hearing more of the stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
like,
what you mean.
Very on brand. Like, I'm trying to think of how you do that.
Very on Russell Brand.
Or maybe, like, they're trying to save you for one point, and Bill Cypher's like, yeah, get out of here.
Yeah.
You're not the one paying to get in here. Like, slaps him away or whatever. And then you have to, like...
I think we should also make it kind of scary.
Yeah.
Make it kind of scary.
A little spooky, goosebumpsy, very Gravity Fallsy. I could definitely see that. Try specific.
I want kids to wet their pants on this ride.
There you go, and Bill Cypher knows that. And he was like, "Put your wet pants in the basket at the end of the ride."
Yeah, that's funny. He's kind of like better Deadpool, honestly.
He is better Deadpool because he's, I don't know. I think he's just fun. He's a little darker than Deadpool, but it's for kids.
Yeah, which is funny.
It's not for kids. I'd say it's for all ages.
But it's kid appropriate.
It's kid appropriate, exactly, which makes it even more better.
But it pushes the line.
It does push the line.
For kid appropriate.
Very much so. Yeah, then you launch or whatever, and, like, again, Bill Cypher's just doing this because he's like he has to because there's he signed a contract, or like I signed a contract with Disney, makes the Deadpool joke. They have me till I'm 90, like you know what I mean, like they have me till 900, I'm 90.
Yeah. And then I enter the public domain. So
and then I enter the public domain, and then everyone can have me, and then so like I hate humanity. It just like goes on like punishes
capitalism's a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. Capitalism's a mistake. The world is fake. Pluto 42 happened. Bye, girl. Bye. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And so he's basically you're punishing humanity or whatever, and he's trying to like destroy you or whatever. But then like, I think it'd be funny if like there was some sort of like magical pull, because like he would just kill you instantly. There must be a reason as to why he doesn't specifically do it. You know what I mean? Because Bill Cypher could do that. Just wondering what stops him from doing it. Like, would it be like Dipper and Mabel get in the way a lot? Uncle Stan gets in the way a lot?
It could be a... Maybe he... That's tough. Maybe he also wants monetary gain in a way. Maybe he's like, this is a theme park, I want money. But he doesn't really want money.
He doesn't want money. Money doesn't matter to him. It's
maybe it's even more meta. He's contractually obligated not to kill you. He's like, I would kill you.
That'd be really funny
because NDA.
Because of NDA. Because if I kill you, Mickey Mouse would give me a beating.
Yeah, he goes, I don't want that. Mickey Mouse.
I already cheated. He already cheated on his wife with me. Like,
yeah. They're already trying to get me for tax fraud, so like I can't kill you guys right now.
I think that'd be kind of funny. If he's like, yeah, at the end he's probably, but like it's randomized at the end, kind of like Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones isn't randomized, but the animatronic is like, "Ooh, we got out of there."
Yeah.
Or whenever it's at the end of the ride, he just says random things about the lore drop of the ride that you only get. And you have to kind of rewrite it to kind of understand a little bit more. He's like, yeah, I only couldn't, like, I know you're probably thinking, how am I still alive right now? But it's like, I'm contractually obligated to not kill you right now. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
And like another time, it would be like, I don't know, like it drops random lore about.
I already cheated on my taxes, so I've done my one thing today.
Whatever.
Like something stupid.
It's like you're probably wondering why I haven't bleeped out the IRS yet. Whatever. It's like random stuff, or like at the end of the ride. And that's just gonna go like, what?
Sorry, the mosquito still exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah.
Which would be just kind of fun. Just make a very meta narrative, because that's what Bill Cypher is. He's like a meta guy, but he is meta perfect. That's what I think about. If the writing is well on it, it could be done really well.
Yeah. It doesn't take away from the story.
Yeah, it doesn't take away from the story because it's in the story and it makes sense. Yeah. And it's very much that way. And it'd be very creative and unique and be like, this is cool. Yeah. But Disney would never do that. But anyways, if they ever do this, if it's ever whatever, I don't know what's going to happen with it. Moving on, because we talked about that ride for quite a bit.
Yeah, we are like a solid 40 minutes in, I think.
Yeah, 30 minutes. Well,
32.
It's okay. This will be a good long episode for y'all. This will be a special one. So going on to the next ride, we kind of had an idea for, and this is kind of going back to like, again, we usually like to have a smaller ride that's too adjacent to or juxtaposed to the very high quality big ride, and this would be we don't know. I mean, he said, or I'm stuttering here. Brett said it's like you said like a. You said a teacup ride, or what was it?
No. It's kind of like the Primeval Whirl.
Primeval Whirl, okay.
In Animal Kingdom, that terrible ride, that horrific piece of machinery, but good. And it's kind of like this like really runk down, like purposely so looking like roller coaster ran by McGucket. And like you have a little animatronic of him, he's just like pulling levers. He's like, what does this one do? And he pulls it and you like swing to the other side of the ride. Yeah, exactly. He's just messing with the things. And it's just like, again, a tourist trap attraction that they have in there for Grunkle Stan, and he's like hired him to run the ride. He doesn't know how to run it.
Hired him more like he gives him like breadcrumbs.
Exactly.
He's like,
he's like, here you go. Exactly. But like, so like, you know, it purposely doesn't look safe. Like
that's the whole design of it. Very much. That's such a good idea. I love that idea
cute.
Too.
Yeah.
And like you just hear and add in just lore drops about McGucket, like within. I'm not gonna get into any spoilers for the show. Other than like,
he's like, I used to be Bob Iger.
There should be in the first ride, the dark ride, there should just be a photo of like Bob Iger with like like with Bill Cypher, like X amount. Oh no, it should be a Bob Chapek reference. And like like Bob Chapek is like there's like half a sheet covered over him, like in the corner.
That's
like very
funny.
very very meta and stuff like that.
But Bill Cypher's like, I am Bob Chapek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, actually, I was trying. Like he should be like, I was Bob Chapek. I just tried to destroy this company, but it just didn't work. There's something about Bob Iger you don't know.
That's funny. That's really good.
Bob Iger's my brother.
My bro.
But I never actually went on Primeval World because it was the first time I went.
You weren't missing much.
Yeah, I know I wasn't missing much.
It's really bad.
But I think it'd be funny if it was my Primeval World, but it was like a little more better, like better theme than Primeval World. And like again, like it'd just be really funny if it was like really hastily built by a really cool mechatronic, like you know what I mean?
I love that.
Or whatever, very much so, and yeah, I think that there's not much to say much about that ride because it's just a self-explanatory.
Yeah. And we spent so much time explaining the first one. Like that one is an easy, simple ride after the.
Yeah, I mean, if you know McGucket, if you don't know McGucket from the show, honestly, if you don't really know Gravity Falls, this is probably not making any sense to you.
But
Old Man McGucket is a character within the Gravity Falls universe, he has a lot more that's letting on.
If you haven't watched Gravity Falls, like what are you doing?
Yeah, actually, I think it's one of Disney's best made products, honestly.
Kevin's being nice about it. You're living under a rock and you're being stupid. Go watch it right now.
I love Gravity Falls. It's probably my second favorite Disney thing to ever exist ever.
Second.
It's the second. Meet the Robinsons is number one.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
But Gravity Falls might be number one sometimes, though. It depends on the day.
Yeah.
But Gravity Falls is definitely the most solid thing to ever exist. Ever. And if you know what Old Man McGucket is, again, it's just an old kooky guy that's like, I don't know what else to relate him to, but like he's just an old like hillbilly guy. It's like he barely speaks English, even though he knows English. He just speaks like jargon.
Yeah.
He wears like overalls with one strap on, like very just like hick. You know what I mean? So it's very fits that aesthetic. And we actually have a third ride for you guys today, because I kind of wanted to do a third one because I wanted to make it kind of Galaxy's Edge-esque where you have two kind of well-themed rides. This is another dark ride made by Grunkle Stan, but it's to fill an educational quota because Disney is requiring him to create an educational part of his park or else will get shut down. So Grunkle Stan does the absolute bare minimum to make a ride about the history of Gravity Falls.
Yeah, it's like Hall of Presidents, but it's essentially like, here's Bill Clinton. Okay, cool. Next one.
Obviously
silly jokes, maybe.
Right, and it's
Here's
just
Bill Clinton. He had an affair on his wife. Next one. Here's even though Disney would never do that.
Yeah, it's like Bill Clinton had an affair on his wife. I feel that. Stan is like,
yeah,
whatever. Or I've done worse. Whatever.
People use Sherman reference, or I mean, technically, if they did that, they could do something off cuff. Definitely, Gravity Falls with that. Or like, here's Richard Nixon. He was involved in the Watergate scandal. So was I, but nobody ever talks about me.
Yeah. It shows like the next room shows a picture of like Grunkle Stan and Richard Nixon like hugging or whatever. It's like
here's George W. Bush and Dick Cheney.
He has the phone tap. Like it's just like
here's Mitt Romney.
So obviously again
he lost the election.
So obviously this wouldn't be actually presidents like that. Like again, Gravity Falls is a fictional place, so obviously it would be like.
They should be like close enough.
Yeah.
Here's Mitt Romney. You know what I mean? Or
just a play off of it. Yeah. You have to have Quentin Tremblay. I think that's his name.
George W. Shrub.
Oh my gosh. But it's Quentin Tremblay. I think that's his name if I remember right. He was like, I forget the number president, but he was the president that no one remembers because he died running off a cliff backwards on a horse. What was it? He created like the negative $5 bill.
Yeah.
Like very much that-esque where like the history of Gravity Falls is funky like that. He talks about the Pacifica family and everything because they founded Gravity Falls and we'll talk about that. But he hates the Pacifica family, so like
because they suck.
So like he just like makes fun of them.
Yeah. And
like slaps his face on it or whatever. But like it's very much that-esque where like it's supposed to be a history lesson, but it's just not.
Mm-hmm.
But like he hires Dipper and Mabel to be like it's almost like Great Movie Ride-esque where like he hires Dipper and Mabel to play certain characters.
Yeah.
Imagine the Great Movie Ride by Grunkle Stan.
the Great Grunkle movie, right? Can we do that? Here's Singing in the Rain. He's singing in the rain. Okay, next movie.
Or whatever. It's like,
here's the Wizard of Oz. Man, I wish someone would put a house on me. I wish I got crushed by a house. Man, that'd be kind of nice.
what was that?
It's sleepy, jet lag still.
Yeah, with or something like whatever. It's like there's like a list on the like magneted to the fridge that just says Schindler's List or whatever. It's like stuff like that where it's like the history of Gravity Falls, because Gravity Falls has this goofy history.
We're gonna be talking about Midnight Cowboy. Oh wait, we can't talk about that Disney one. Let's talk about that one.
But again, we're going off cuff here again. But again, the ride would be very much a fake history lesson. So I'm trying to think of, like, there's no ride necessarily like that, but there's like, it's a goofy sideshow, and it looks purposefully bad. I think it honestly would be funny if they if Dipper and Mabel like character play people, or like actual like characters, or if they were animatronics, were like forced to be a part of it to play characters.
Yeah, kind of like Olaf.
Yeah,
in the shorts.
The shorts, very much so, of like different parts of Gravity Falls or whatever. Seuss is like fixing some of the stuff in the ride as it's like breaking down. Stuff like that. Again, like that ride's not. I just wanted to add another thing, and I think it's very on par. It's just called education quota. It's just funny. He's like, I'm Uncle Stan, and I need to make this ride just to fill the education quota. So let's just get this over with. On your left is Gravity Falls, the actual falls, or whatever. Or stuff like that. Or it's like, this is where I pushed my wife. This is where I killed my wife. Anyways. But her aim is getting better.
But
yeah.
But her aim, you get it? But her aim is getting better.
No, what is that joke? Oh.
I miss my ex-wife, but my aim is getting better.
No, it's but her aim is getting better. My ex-wife misses me. But her aim is getting better.
Okay.
He's like, he's like a dad and his son are fishing on a boat. But very much that way. Moving on to dining, because that's a big chunk of time on rides. We don't actually have too much for dining, because we kind of racked our brains thinking about dining locations to eat. And the only one that was consistently in multiple episodes was Greasy's Diner. Which is, I don't know if it's owned by Lazy Susan or if that's where she works. It's pretty much just a normal, typical Northwest diner. If you ever visit the Northwest, we do have a lot of truck diners like that here because, again, we have a lot of like lumber shipping and a lot of different stuff like that. So we have a lot of the small type diner places. And so it fits really well in the theme of Oregon, and just to make like maybe pancakes and waffles and burgers and pie and like very much like diner food. I think it'd be fun, and maybe you have a character who plays Lazy Susan or whatever. Or it'd be funny if you had like the man meter in there, which like you punched it to tell you how much of a man you were, just because that's what it is in the show. It's just funny stuff like that. And it'd just be nice comfort, like pancakes, waffles, burgers, omelets. Stuff like that, where it's just like, it's also breakfasty, but sometimes it has like burgers, and it has sandwiches, it has, stuff like that, pub food. And we couldn't really honestly think of too much anything else for Gravity Falls food-wise. Maybe we can kind of come up with some stuff now, but I was still racking my brain, and I'm like, it's really hard to kind of find that, which I'm sure there is a lot more food stuff, we're just not coming up with it. If you have any ideas out there for any food locations within Gravity Falls, let us know down in the comments, because we'd love to hear it. Yeah. Do you have any ideas that any popped in your head now?
Not really. I mean, it's pretty traditional food, I think. Not every section of every park has like a super elaborate food.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Be one of the ones that needs to have anything, I think
it'd be fun if you had like a stand or like a cafe part of it that had like themed food, like it's like, Bill Cypher cookies, or you had... like, this is kind of dark, but you have a Waddles burger and it's pork. Oh, wow. A Waddles burger and it's pork. That'd be awful. But, like, you have themed food like that. Like, maybe you have, like... all I'm thinking is, like, Triangle Bill Cypher cookies. That's all I'm thinking right now. maybe you have like the rainbow. You have like a whole bunch of different cookies for all the the symbols in the show, because there's every single character has a symbol associated with them. If that's like a big motif in the show, and it was a big thing for theory crafting, was that each one of the characters had a specific symbol in the show. Like Mabel's was a star with a rainbow. Dipper's was his pine hat. The symbol on the fez for Grunkle Stan. Wendy's is an ice bag. Seuss's question mark. Like each one had like a symbol. It'd be kind of funny if they had all like those cookies. That'd be kind of cute.
Yeah.
And of course, throughout the whole entire park, kind of going back to it, is I want to create more mysteries and more subliminal messaging within the park, because Gravity Falls is absolutely known for their codes, their subliminal messaging, their all of it. Like that's just big. One frame you'll see something that will, or in the background you'll see something. Very much that. So I think we have to add some mystery and some new theory crafting within the park, because that's what Gravity Falls. What made it so good was it knew how to make its presence without using presence. Like, it knew how to use its gaps. It knew how to use its gaps in time when creating episodes. It knew how to use its gap when creating new seasons. So kind of, that history should be in the park as well. That's a side tangent, but I thought that would be really cool. Even having, like, a scavenger hunt or some sort of, like, mystery solving. Almost kind of like in the Indiana Jones line, they give you a little deciphering card for the language that was on the Temple of the Forbidden Eye. Very similar to that, where, like, you could be given, like, a treasure map. Or even, like, it would be really cute if you could, like, if they gave you a little small journal, like one of the journals, like a fourth journal or something that no one else had or something, and had information about it, and you could go research. And we went to a place that was a little bit adjacent to that this last week called Fathom. It was really cool. It was an art installation here. It's a pop-up art installation here. And you're able to go there, and you were able to basically solve and research subjects or whatever, but it had that idea of you deciphering codes and you finding things around the environment. Very much that what I was expecting for Gravity Falls. So maybe you can get like a different journal book and you had information you needed to fill out, and if you did, you got something out of it.
Yeah.
What do you think of that idea?
Yeah, all that's great. Yeah, all that was really... I mean, you said it more articulately.
Right. But yeah, I think honestly that'd be really cool, and I think it's... Some places have that, kind of. Like, they have their own version of it. Like, Galaxy's Edge has that, like, cargo, like, trading game where you can do with your Magic Band Plus, where you go around and you make credits.
Yeah.
It's not exactly the same thing, but Harry Potter has their interactive wand thing, which I don't know if there's actually quests for that, or if it's just kind of like a fun thing you can do.
But it'll make it feel more like a summer camp.
Yep.
I mean, you can even do summer camp activities. It works too, yeah.
Yep, I think so. I mean, you could definitely do something with it. Make it so that's more interactive, so like you have, like, maybe there's a Bill Cypher codes you need to decipher on, like, on the back of buildings or something like that, where you have something to do that's outside the attractions. Moving on to shopping, since dining was kind of lacked here. We have a lot for shopping. A lot. Or just shopping, merch, stores, all of it. And honestly, I'll let you take this. I've been talking a lot. I've been taking over. I want to give you some time, obviously. For shopping, you can take it away with Mystery Shack, obviously.
Oh, yeah. So, like, we talked about, every good ride ends at the gift shop, which, I mean, Bill Cypher could also make that joke, even though it is Simpsons joke, but, It's, so the last part of this ride would be in the Mystery Shack gift shop. So you see the whole tour, and then, and once again, you could sell some things that are a little, like, knick-knacky, and that would work, because it's a tourist trap. Mm-hmm. But we definitely have to get a few things crossed. Dipper Pines hats absolutely have to be sold. I mean, that is a kind of an iconic image of the entire show. We're talking about Mabel sweaters would be a lot of fun. And Mabel's grappling hook is something that we all love and want to play with. So that'd be a cool thing to actually have in the ride as well. I had a funny idea of having Bill Cypher plushes, and you pushed his stomach, and he would say something like, "I'm going to make you a corpse." Something like that, like really out of pocket, off the cuff. Maybe something for a little older audience, but that'd be kind of funny, a funny thing to do as well. Mm-hmm. You spent like $25 on me or whatever, exactly. Stuff like that. Waddles merch for sure. Everyone loves Waddles, and we need Waddles.
Is good.
Yeah, Waddles is a good boy. I think it would be fun, like, if you really did recreate what the Mystery Shack gift shop looks like. Have, like, the weird Bigfoot Sasquatch thing, you know, in the middle of the store and stuff like that you can mess with as well. Maybe, like, even an interactive, like, little thing, kind of like the tree at Rainforest Cafe.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
the statues actually talk to you, you can talk back or something like that. That'd be fun.
I think it'd be cute also that you can mess with the vending machine, and if you put in the vending machine code, like, it just makes it, like, was changed. Like, you know what I mean?
Fun,
like, you purposely changed it, what the code was.
That's cool.
Or something like that, where it's, like, interactable a little bit. Almost like Toontown-esque.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
very interactable. Stuff like that. I also think you did, I think that's pretty much, I think you got all of it.
Yeah.
The one that I kind of wanted to add in was, like, Grunkle Stan Fez.
Oh, yeah.
Or just all their hats that they wear. There's a lot of hats. I think it's funny you got a Seuss shirt with the question mark. All their outfits, you know what I mean? Very much so like a Seuss question mark. Like Wendy's hat, like her like fleece. That's almost like a lumberjack fleece hat. Again, grappling hook. That just would be funny. I don't know how accurate you can make the grappling hook, but maybe like it shoots out a little bit that makes noises or whatever. I don't know how you could actually sell grappling hooks. I feel like.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of dangerous for people to just use in public. I honestly don't know actually how grappling hooks really work, if they actually do work as in movies and media tells us they do. I honestly don't know a lot about grappling hooks.
Yeah.
But honestly, you've covered it pretty well. I said various monsters plush. Like, I would love to have like a gnome plush. I'd love to have a little like Loch Ness monster plush or like a minotaur plush. Just various of the monsters that are in the show. I think that's... Oh! What we forgot about that we wanted to do is a McGucket candy line.
Yeah.
You had that idea, so I'll let you take that away.
Yeah, I was like, you know how Goofy has his own candy line in Disney? It's kind of cute.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we could do something like that with McGucket, and like he's kind of like this explosive guy. So you know those sugary candy like dispensers that you can get like all the different flavored of sugars.
Yeah.
I feel like something with McGucket that makes sense. He's kind of a miner or something like that. Not minor. I mean like a miner.
Yeah. Well, you get it. He's kind of a minor. That's the right word.
Yeah.
People have taken that word to mean awful things, but that's a minor. He's has that aspect. He has the pickaxe, I do think.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be funny if all that candy came out of TNT like barrels.
Yeah.
Because it's like almost like it's gunpowder. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, that's funny. It's like they said pop rocks. You could have like, you know, just very weird candy line that just weirdly kind of fits. I don't know why it does, but it does. That'd be kind of fun. And that kind of concludes all the shopping. I think you only really need the Mystery Shack for the shopping. Maybe you could have a few pop up like stands and stuff. You could have a couple of those that are selling different merch or whatever around there, kind of like what Galaxy's Edge does. But the Mystery Shack will definitely be that main shopping area. And obviously it's not going to be to scale, because if it was, it'd be too tiny. So it'd probably be extended. But like maybe kind of funny if like it was purposefully extended. So like the little area that's the normal Mystery Shack, it looks completely normal, but then the building looks purposefully like it was extended. Like, you know what I mean? Like built for the park by Grunkle Stan. And you can have even more new ideas for random tourist trap combinations. Like you could have a different thing that's kind of like rock for the face rock or whatever. Rock that looks like a face rock. Stuff like that. And moving on finally to shows. We have about 4 shows for you in total. And to start off, this is your favorite thing in the entire world, so I'm going to leave you with the Sock Puppet Rock Opera.
Yes.
I want you to explain this thoroughly.
So, the Sock Puppet Rock Opera episode is maybe my favorite episode of Gravity Falls. I love sock puppets, and I think it would be really, really funny to make a rock opera sock puppet show here. I feel like it could be really interesting to retell. So, if we're doing it next summer, right? The events of Weirdmageddon have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably like a colossal thing.
Yep.
And they will be I feel like Weirdmageddon will be something they're kind of capitalizing on throughout the entire thing. Like, this is where it happened or whatever.
Right.
You know. And I feel like having a rock opera show retelling the events of Weirdmageddon would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And they come up with really corny, dopey songs, and it's like a rock opera musical. And it's all being recorded by Phoebe Bridgers.
That's
why would that be the rock opera person?
I don't
She's
know.
like slow. Deftones.
Oh my gosh.
It's a Deftones rock opera musical. But and then in the gift shop you can have the soundtrack on vinyl.
That'd be
rock
funny.
opera, sock opera. But yeah, I think retelling, and maybe they're different shows too. So like you get the events of Weirmageddon, events of Gravity Falls, but I feel like they should be like rock operas that are retelling events from the actual show.
Gotcha.
That's a way that you can make reference to it and still make it really unique.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid. Also, he just loves sock puppets. He loves puppets. He loves puppets.
I love sock puppets.
He loves just puppets in general.
Yeah, let's go puppets.
Puppet moment. Puppets kind of creep me out.
Wow.
They're scary.
But the Muppets.
Muppets are good, though. They're the only Muppets that don't creep me out.
That's fair.
Like, okay, moving on. This reminded me of Little Gideon's tent show, because he has a show in his tent. But it'd be funny if he was, like, arrested and he was forced to do it because, to, like, it's a community service.
Yeah.
It's community service for something, and so he had to do his magic show or whatever what he did. He's like, I'm Little Gideon, or whatever, and he had to do his little whole shtick just for whatever. But he's like, he's doing it out of spite. He's like, I don't want to be here doing this.
He like shows his house arrest ban on his leg.
Yeah, he's like, I'm here, I'm forced to do this, I don't want to be here.
That's funny.
Or whatever. I think it'd be really funny. That's not really explained, because there's parts of his show it'd be a really big tent, and it'd be really cool. Very cool to go into, and, they have the Little Gideon show that happens, I don't know, like every couple hours or whatever. They have an actor. Problem is, being an actor doing Little Gideon would be really interesting. How do you do that?
Yeah.
He's a short little dude with big hair. How do you make, like, a human...
I don't know.
That's like the hat sized, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's just a child, so I honestly don't know how that would work. Maybe it's an animatronic. Maybe it's like an animatronic, but he's like making a show, and so actors come on stage that aren't Little Gideon that like do stuff. That's like a magic show. I don't know. He's like, I can't be out on stage right now because I can't be within 200 miles of like citizens or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, I'm recording this from prison or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, maybe you could do it that way. And then this is Brett's. He came in here and he cried. He's like, Kevin, I need to pitch the Gravity Falls dance party. He got on his knees and he told me that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we have to have another dance party because each and every theme park needs a dance party. And this one's going to be a dance party off of like really like popular songs, but like redone to make them the worst versions of themselves, which was a running joke in the show. We have like Disco Girl, which is definitely
it's by Baba.
Yeah, it's by Baba. It's definitely a play on Dancing Queen from ABBA, obviously.
Yeah.
And then Mabel's Don't Stop Unbelieving, which is definitely Don't Stop Believing from
Journey.
So
Very,
stuff
very
like
much.
that.
I said like Good Romance.
Yeah.
Like from like Lady Gaga.
Flippy You from
Lady Goo Goo.
Lady Goo Goo. Flip You from Miso Green.
Oh my gosh! Flip You from Miso Green.
Miso Green.
Stuff like that where it's just
Yeah.
play off words.
And it's just like the worst version of it you could think of.
Won't stop the...
Just Not the Way You Aren't from Bruno Jupiter.
won't stop by the Blue Cold... I'm trying to think of a Blue Cold... I like the Blue Cold Chili Peppers. I don't know.
Blue Cold Chili Peppers.
The Blue Cold Bell Peppers. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like,
1984 by the Binging Pumpkins. Orwellian.
White Chocolate by 1984.
White chocolate.
Stuff like that.
Mint chocolate chip.
Yeah.
Alright.
But very much that. It's stupid. Like, so like it's a running gag now that we just do a dance party at this point, so we have to do it.
But that is kind of a funny bit.
It is a funny bit, and surprisingly in every single media we cover, there's pretty much always some sort of dance, because like there's a whole dance party actually in the show Gravity Falls that happens in like the first season of episode 2 with all the zombies and stuff. So it happens. Also Disco Girl and again like it works. And then I thought for the last final bit, we should add a fireworks show made by Seuss. Because I want something dedicated to Seuss, because Seuss is really good.
Yeah.
And so having a fireworks show where, like, he hastily made it together and it's kind of purposely kind of bad. But, like, at some point the Mystery Shack catches on fire, but it's, like, it's made to look like it catches on fire, so it's not actually on fire. It's something like that where it has to stop. And it's like, we can't have a liability. So Grunkle Stan comes out and is like, we can't have a liability, Sue. Shut this thing down. Like, very much so. And it's like, oh, it's just kind of bad on purpose, but, like, it's still Seuss. And so I honestly think that's a funny idea, and I think it's all goofy. It's all goofy. Yeah. Gravity Falls is, like, creepy but goofy. Dark, surreal sometimes, but absolutely cool, so... And that is literally everything we've had on our list the entire episode. We got through that pretty quickly at the last section. We really stuck hard on that Dark Ride, which
I feel like everything else is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, like Dark Ride was a little bit... You had to really explain that because there were so many things you could do with that main ride that we had to really explain that. So, I guess we can review. I always kind of do the review, but since you're here this time and you actually have physical notes, do you want to do the review?
Yeah, I'll do the review.
I've got physical notes here.
Okay. The area. Gravity Falls in general.
Yeah, that's what I said. You don't have to read it one for one. It's just Gravity Falls in general.
I'm going to. I think it's funny.
I'm going to read the whole entire...
Rides, dash, Dark Ride, comma, Grunkle Scan, creates, tourist trap, semicolon, dash, Old Man McGucket, butt ride. Is that what it says?
No! Built
ride.
Old Man McGucket butt ride? What is that?
Dash, Dark Ride, education quota, dining, colon, greasy diner, semicolon, diner food, semicolon, pancakes, shopping, semicolon, dash, Mystery Shack, dash, grapple and cook, dash, dipper sat, dash, office, off the cuff, Cypher plush, dash, Waddles plush, dash, McGucket candy line, dash, Grunkle Stand Fest, dash, Wendy's hat, dash, sweaters, dash, various monster plushes, dash, shows, dash, shock puppet rock opera, dash, Little Gideon tent show, dash, Gravity Falls dance party, dash, Seuss fireworks show. Oh, we forgot about the Seuss fireworks.
No, no, we did it.
Did we not?
I just talked about it. That was the last thing we talked about.
I completely missed that. I don't know how.
What do you mean you messed that up?
No, I said I completely missed that. I don't know how I did.
You responded to me. We'll see in the recording. I said, yeah, the Seuss fireworks show, and then it'd be funny if Grunkle Stan came out and he was like, this is a liability.
That is funny.
I know, but then you were like, oh, that's really funny. Did you have a brain fart? We just did this.
I think I just forgot the last 5 minutes of my life. This is crazy. I'm sorry, guys.
You're good, man. That's funny. But, so after we did a review, he did the review. I'm going to actually go in and do the review, because that probably made no sense because of the jumble of notes.
Sorry.
Overall, Gravity Falls themed area. It's in Gravity Falls, Oregon, obviously. So it's themed to Gravity Falls. It is the place and time is very much. I guess we're setting it after Weirdmageddon. The final things of the show is next summer, and Gravity Falls has been placed as a theme park, and they know it.
Yeah.
So Grunkle Stan is trying to make money off it, and the whole town's trying to make money off of it. We have 3 rides. We have the Grunkle Stan Tourist Trap main dark ride, like Bill Cypher experience, whatever you want to call that, where they get to explore the Mystery Shack and then gets transported to another world via Bill Cypher, and is like Bill Cypher has a grudge against humanity for putting him in purgatory. And then Old Man McGucket built the ride, not the butt ride, not the Old Man McGucket, but McBucket. Wait, we gotta make a McDonald's ripoff called McGuckets.
get a McGucket happy meal.
You get a sad meal.
Yeah.
Crazy meal. Delusional meal.
The quirky meal.
The quirky meal. Anyways, maybe add that to dining. We'll see. So you have Old Man McGucket, the ride that he built, and for just to make money off of it, and it's just goofy and it's wacky. Then the educational quota Dark Ride, which is a history of Gravity Falls told by Grunkle Stan. For dining, we have the Greasy Diner, which has the pancakes, the waffles, the burgers, the standard diner type food.
Yeah.
As well as now McGuckets, which is a fast food themed after McGucket, which is a lot of McGucket merch. I'm going to be honest with you, but it'd be funny.
Yeah.
For shopping, it is definitely the Mystery Shack. That's definitely the place you go shopping. It has grappling hooks, Dipper hats, off-the-cuff cyber plushes, Waddles merch in general, Grunkle stand fezzes, Mabel sweaters, various monster plushes, what you've already said, the McGucket candy line, the Wendy's
I just put dashes in between it.
Yeah. And the shows, again, is that sock puppet rock opera.
Sock puppet rock opera.
And then Little Gideon tent show, Gravity Falls dance party, and then the Seuss fireworks show. So all of it is there for you. That is the review. I got yawned. Alright, that is the review. Now for the probability test. The probability in the scope of the park. Remember that always this is a probability, not that it will exist, but it will exist if they made the park. So it's like almost like grading on a curve. So you go first this time, Brett. So just kind of go down the list of stuff.
So, I mean, obviously this area would be themed to Gravity Falls if it was Gravity Falls, so that gets a 10 out of 10 probability.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make much sense if it took place anywhere else. The Dark Ride probability, I think the ride would have to be based off of Bill Cypher, to be honest with you. I think that's a pretty high... I don't know if it'd be exactly the way that we'd pitch it, but a Bill Cypher roller coaster seems like maybe a 7. Like, I think that's a pretty good bet.
Gotcha.
The McGucket, broken ride.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, the McGucket broken ride is probably like a 5. I think it's a really funny idea, though.
I like it.
Yeah. The Seuss historical presentation ride is more like a 3. But that would be awesome. The restaurants, I mean, 10 because they would have to have a restaurant and we didn't really pitch anything specific to it.
Just a greasy diner, honestly.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, yeah, duh. Yeah, and then the merch.
McGuckets. The McDonald's McGuckets.
McDonald's McGuckets, 10, 11, 12, 15, 28.
Imagine it has, like, McGucket Land, which is, like, a total spin-off of McDonald Land.
Yeah, McGucket Land. That's funny.
Anyways, continue.
And then, the shop, the Mystery Shack shop.
The Mystery Shack shop.
Top 10.
Yeah, top.
10.
10 top.
10 top. Da!
The heck was that? That was Outlash. Mystery Shack.
The Mystery Shack shop is a 10.
Okay.
The Sock Puppet Rock Opera is an 11. The Gideon's show... Little Gideon Magic Church. He has to do out of obligations like a 2. I don't think.
What did you say the Sock Puppet Rock Opera show was?
11.
I guess you want it.
Yeah.
It wasn't reality.
Oh, realistically, it's like a 5.
Gotcha.
And then the Seuss fireworks show is like a 1, I think.
How about the dance party?
The dance party, like a 5.
I doubt it. Gravity Falls isn't a dance party type thing. It's going to be the Bluey dance party, which we called.
There we go. That was an 11, looking back.
It was an 11, looking back.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I don't differentiate pretty much anything from what Brett just said, honestly. I might just ditto him, but Gravity Falls' area as a whole is a 10. The Dark Ride, I want to say, is maybe a 5 or a 6. It depends. Specifically the way we're pitching it, I'd probably say a 6, but a ride including Bill Cypher is probably like an 8.
Yeah.
It has to. Old Man McGucket's build the ride, that's pretty low. I want to say it's a 4 or a 3. I don't see that happening. Dark Ride educational quota, that's probably not going to happen. It might be a couple of jokes that they throw in the main ride that would be kind of esque to this.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be a ride on its own, so I give that like a 2. The Greasy Diner is probably like a 8 or 9. That's pretty solid. The McGucket McDonald's is a 0.
Maybe
a 1.
I think you give it a 1. I don't think it's impossible.
For shopping, the Mystery Shack, I give a 10 out of 10. That's like the most 10 out of 10 thing I think we've ever done.
Like that's just a given.
Literally, it's the most 10 out of 10 thing I think we've talked about.
If they didn't do that, they would be stupid.
What would they do?
I don't know.
grappling hook, Dipper's hat, all this stuff, I want to say is a good 10. Except the only thing that would really be like weird would be maybe the off the cuff Bill Cypher plush.
Yeah,
maybe
probably like a 4.
Yeah, then the monster plushes maybe not. I don't know. I'd say the off the cuff Cypher plush would be like maybe a 5. Like I said, Sock Puppet Rock Opera, I'd give it a 5 or a 4. I'd say the Little Gideon tent show. I honestly could see something to do with Little Gideon, honestly, more than the Sock Puppet Opera.
Really?
But maybe not the way we're pitching it. The reason why I think that is because it's like a big. He's a big character of the show.
Yeah. More
so than the sock puppets are, and he has a show in a giant tent, which is like Disney or any parks love to do like the big looking stuff, and that big tent would be very intriguing to people. So I could say that's more of a 5. I'd say the Lost Sock Puppet's probably a 4, not by much difference, but I could say that. Gravity Falls Dance Party, 2, a 3. It's just funny. Then Zeus Fireworks Show, I want to believe it's going to be there, but it's probably not. So I'd say it's like a 3, 2 or 3. But then that's everything. Honestly, it's kind of very surreal right now. Kind of moving on to the end of the episode. It's very surreal that Britt's here right now. I think in my opinion, because like again, we met at the Disney college program. Yeah. And I never knew that just meeting at a college program like that would ever get to a point where we've actually like traveling to see each other. And I just think it's really surreal, and I really thank Brett for coming and visit up here, not only to record, but just to give me the chance to show off my home that I like so much.
It's been so cool. I loved it around here.
Yeah, I hope that you had a good time up here. This is actually the second to last day. This is kind of the last day he's going to be here.
It's the last day. I mean, it's 7 a.m. I leave tomorrow, so...
So it's kind of like the last day that he's going to be here for now. So we kind of want to end it off with a good podcast recording, and then we're going to send it off with a boom with a concert.
Straight up one of our most organized podcasts that we've ever had.
I honestly think so, too. Maybe it's because we're here in person, and maybe
it's in the morning.
It's in the morning.
We haven't just worked for 4.
Yeah, literally. Like, some of our, like... are probably most off the cuff. I'm trying to think of what our most off the cuff is. Like McDonaldland was up there, but also McDonaldland was pretty solid.
Yeah.
I'll thinking back on it.
The Polar Express one went crazy.
Yeah, the Polar Express one was off the tracks.
One went crazy.
Yeah, the Dire Wimpy Kid was pretty crazy.
The Ray Bring the Boom one went crazy, but kind of purposely so.
It went purposely crazy. I'd say Gorillas was a good episode. I think that one was solid. The Percy Jackson is probably one of our most solid episodes on the podcast, just because of JJ.
As far as organization
goes, this one's pretty solid because we're actually awake. We're here together. We kind of did it in the morning. We're kind of like right because it's like I think it's probably maybe 10 or 11 right now, and so we're solid with what we're
saying.
Well, what we're saying, and and we're also here physically, which is a little different, so we can kind of read each other a little bit better. I kind of want to get that out the gate. And again, I wanted to thank the viewers also. I mean, this is like again the 9th episode. I can't believe we're on episode 9. It doesn't feel like it's been episode 9. It feels like we've been doing this forever, but episode 9 is pretty. We're getting almost in the double digits. The next episode is going to be the double digits, and it's honestly
2.5 months now, right? Is that right?
We started. What was our first episode?
Wait! No, it would be more than that.
No, it's more than that. I want to say
it's bi-weekly.
I want to say it's. I want to say we started our first episode in October. No.
That means it'd be almost 4.5 months.
September or October. It was last year, September, October, I want to say. And so it's been like, again, let's say October for now, even though it could be more, but that's like October, November, December, January, February, that's a good 4 or 5 months. So like it's almost been half a year since we started doing this. And it's honestly just been such a good time, and I've loved every single minute of it. And I'm really glad that we were able to do this in person, to be able to...
and it'll happen again.
It'll happen again. Well, this is not the last time this will happen. Yeah. Honestly, in the future, this is something where I hope this is the norm. Honestly, is that we are here together in person doing a podcast, because doing a podcast over like a long distance can be kind of hard, and it's most of the time doing in-person podcasts is better. So I hope maybe in the future, maybe sometime, maybe somehow, some way, we do more in-person ones. But that's what I wanted to say. But you can go ahead and say everything you want to say about
it. Again, thanks for watching the podcast. It's kind of cool that we're here for the first time in person, like we said. Pretty sweet. Follow the projects. that we got coming up, because it's not just the only project we got coming up, you know?
No,
We want to expand this to be a little different, too.
Yeah.
We have plans about that, but, like, there's a whole other side project I'm handling. I read Kevin the most crazy script I've ever written, and we're hoping to get that shot this year and stuff. So,
and I definitely want to be a part of that script, and I kind of want to be again, like, do projects together again. Or we haven't really done projects together. This is the first project we've ever done together. Yeah. And I kind of want to do a lot more because it's just fun. It's a good time.
Oh yeah.
But kind of what Brett said, expanding Disattractions, because I don't want to keep Disattractions just to this one podcast, because that would be limiting our scope by a lot.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to do more discussions, like serious discussions, not only as like these are the fun ones.
Well, like for instance, Kevin and I, we did a tier list for theme park rides just for fun on the way back. Yeah. And like it was fun. We're like, we could have recorded that, and that would have been good content. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We did a road trip up to Twin Peaks because obviously that's his
one day we'll get there.
Yeah.
Twin Peaks episode.
One day once I actually get into it. But we were on the way back and we did that tier list. It was just the most off the cuff tier list ever, known to man. It was like the most random stuff in that tier list. It was kind of fun, and we kind of thought to ourselves, we should have recorded that type deal. Yeah. We were driving, so we obviously couldn't, but like those are ideas for the future. But also kind of where like the state of theme parks as a whole. I mean, theme parks have changed a lot in the last couple, and everyone does this podcast. Everyone does, where they talk about the state of current theme parks. We're doing something new by expounding it and being like, theme parks that don't exist. That's our niche. That's what we're doing. That's what we're differentiating ourselves from the normal theme park podcast. But I still like to delve into kind of like what Disney, Universal, all these different theme parks are going to become and kind of what they are now, as well as past and stuff. So we'll delve into that. That won't be the main show. This will still be the main show till the end of this channel, if that ever comes, you know what I mean? This will be the main thing. But I want to add still stuff more. I also do want to get into social media and make short posts, make interactable stuff where like we ask questions or anything like that. Even try to make an X or like a Twitter or something where we can just branching out. Again, this is during something where we are in the growing stages of kind of figuring out what Disattractions is right now. As we're going on slowly, we're getting more of an idea as to what it is. But for those listeners out there who have listened to this podcast since day one, we thank you because it's only going to grow from here. Yeah. And again, that's a real serious message, and we do really appreciate you sticking with us, even with the small viewership that we do have, which we love every single view that we get. And we appreciate every single person that watches and comments and just anything because, again, we wouldn't even be doing this if we didn't. If we didn't
doing it.
Yeah, if we didn't like doing it. So, obviously we're going to be continuing to do it, and it's not something we're doing for the viewership. It's not doing something we're doing. We're doing this for ourselves as well as just to show the world out there because we just love doing it.
Yeah, I just love how much, bigger you look than I do.
I do look better because I'm on a higher chair. Can I shorten it?
Oh.
But yeah. Yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. I just kind of want to give a heart-to-heart out there because, again, this is the biggest episode we've probably ever done because, again, we are actually in person. We have put time and effort into creating this a lot more than we have to.
Now you see, my jacket and the way it's folded, it might look like I'm 300 pounds, but I'm not, I promise.
Nikocado episode when?
Yes. Look, we can stand up.
Oh, we can stand up. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Look. See, look.
Look,
isn't this crazy? We're physical. It's crazy.
We're here.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you have a good rest of your day. See ya.
The clip of 42 is a myth.
It's a myth! No!